Oh, welcome in, guys.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing? Hamish, good to meet you from Texas. I know that he's another Kiwi.
He's a Kiwi. Yeah, you can chuck your hello in the chat box. Hello, Hector. Hello, Hamish.
Hector, thank you for being here. Means a lot. I know you're gonna get some more good, valuable content, and Hamish, I hope to deliver. We have some more people coming in. I want to thank you guys for coming out because this is essentially our first official beta version webinar that you can call it a private invitation. This is a private webinar. Gus and I have been working over the last few months. And Gus, to be honest, he'll tell you a little bit of the story of how he put this together, but he's been working on it for years and years. And all me and Violet have been able to do is just be good students and help them get this to a digital platform. We're going to go ahead and get started, guys. What we're here to talk about is how to create financial freedom without huge investment, prior qualifications, or experience, even in hard times. And why do I talk about hard times? Is yes, that coronavirus has been rampant over the last year and a half. I know New Zealand has been able to do a lot better with that. I would like to, before we get into it, I want to tell you guys a little bit about who Gus is and how I met him. We actually met in Bali, Indonesia. It was just by random chance. We met at the gym, out of all places, and we just got to conversation. It was such a good conversation. We went back to our workouts and said, hey, let's meet up later. And I put the camera on, and we just got into a podcast and started talking about all of life. And that next day, I said, Gus, we met up again for breakfast. I want to be your mentee. I want to be one of your students. And Gus humbly just accepted me in. And we started off with Finances Force. Ignite is an incredible system Gus has put together, not only about finances, but relationships, spirituality, just getting out of the matrix in your physical health, in your subconscious. So many, but we decided to start off with finances first. Why? Because most of the time, like I was when I was 25 years old, I somehow got into a place in the world that's actually really hard for a lot of Americans to get to, which is Bali. Not many Americans get to go to that far of a location. So I felt proud of myself, but I still felt financially didn't have much to show for it. And I want to introduce Gus to you guys because he's been the mastermind behind this project. Gus, take it away. What is Ignite and what are we showing them tonight?
Ignite is, I still remember meeting you and Violet in Bali. It was an incredible time. Ignite really is bigger than myself. It's designed to create, educate, inspire, to help bring out the best in individuals so they can seek their full potential. And the reason why I created Ignite Finances was so often people were saying, I just want to do all these things, but I need to get my finances sorted first. And so hence that prompted me to craft all the nuggets that I'd ever learned that transform my financial life and put them together in an easy package for people to learn and understand.
Exactly. So who is this course for? If you're a person who is tired of being in the corporate plantation or in the rat race and has been in the hamster wheel for years, don't get me wrong, don't get me twisted, that we're not talking about a fulfilling, purposeful career. If you are stuck chasing that ladder that never ends called materialism, or working your best years for things, hopefully to retire one day and enjoy it at the end, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow that doesn't exist. This is for you if you're growth minded and you want to fulfill your true potential instead of performing menial tasks and barely making a living wage. That is one thing that is a fact, that the wealth gap, we'll be talking about it as we go, is continuing to grow. And this is going to be for people who want to truly become financially free. And here's the big kicker. It does not mean millions and millions of dollars. You'll find that, of course, you're going to find practical financial advice and wisdom, but abundance is truly created in the mindset. This is going to be for you if you're sick of filling in time and living life of meaning on your own terms. You've been working for years and years like I was, and you have nothing to show for it financially. So this may be you. You may be in a further ahead place, but you're still coachable. You're still looking for a community. You're still looking for something more. So Let's talk a little bit about the wealth gap between the poor and the rich. Everybody has noticed that the stock market continues to explode, but it doesn't make any sense, right? Are we supposedly losing lots of jobs and we should be in a great recession? You see this little cartoon here of the haves and the have-nots. Why is that? In our modern day, everybody is in this middle class bubble, 20 grand to maybe 100 grand. I would consider the middle class. It's not fully in control of your finances, not fully designing the life that you want. And the gap, as you see in this little picture, continues to rise. Now, of course, I'm not talking about corruption or political corruption, but I'm talking about just difference in mindsets. Very striking picture of the slums of this major city. That to me breaks my heart, to be honest. There's just a difference of mentality. Not saying that this is where you want to be. The true wealthy, I believe, are out in the country. And that's a whole nother conversation that we actually do talk about in the Ignite Financial course, how to be totally self-sufficient. Ever wonder why it's so crowded at the bottom? Why it's so crowded at the, unfortunately, here in Austin, Texas, we realized how dependent that major city was. Everybody lost power for days, and some got luckier than others. Fortunately, we got lucky, but today we actually lost our water. So we haven't had water all day. But believe it or not, because of this Ignite teachings and concept, true wealth is beyond just currency. True wealth is beyond just money. Can you eat money? You can't. So what are we really working hard for? Do you really understand the trends that's coming in the future? There will be a great depression or recession. The dollar may or may not collapse. They keep printing this money that just has no value, and the real ones that are waking up are realizing we have to get some real assets, some golden gooses that we'll talk about later in this course. And guys, if you stick to the very end, there's a bonus case study that Gus will be doing on how he'll take you step by step how he became financially independent. What we're going to be talking about on this course is a little bit about our stories, some of the success that we've had, just to give you guys some credibility and some context. And then we're going to be talking about 3 major financial problems and 3 pillars of financial success. For the first 100 people, we're actually going to be giving you 50% off the course. We'll be talking about what we're pricing the course at, but more importantly, what value we're packing into the course. And at the very end, you guys could ask us any questions in the chat. We'll be doing a live Q&A.
By the way, welcome in Veneran and Josh. We see you there, so good to have you with us.
Yes. Guys, feel free to use the chat anytime, any moment. Are you guys ready to get into the content? If so, please type ready into the chat box. I want it to be as engaging as possible. Please type ready, and we'll begin here in a few seconds. All right, guys, let's get into it. Let's keep pushing. Like I said, at the bonus at the very, very end, Gus is going to be talking about how he became financially independent 10 years ago. Patricia's ready. Hamish is ready. Guys, if you're ready, put ready in the chat box. Let's get to it. Let's get
good to see you already.
All right. So Violet and I 2 years ago read a few powerful books. One of them called The 4-Hour Workweek, and it just totally unlocked my mind, totally set me free. I had been chasing the corporate ladder. I was building a traditional multi-level marketing company, and I was fully devoted hours upon hours, 7 days a week for 7 years. And I climbed to the top of this network marketing company only to find out that I didn't own that business. That business owned me, and I was stuck. I was stuck more than ever, but with a different set of education, I was set free. To me, true wealth was time freedom and location freedom. So I started chasing those kind of assets. Since then, Violet and I have been able to travel to many different countries, and it's only been an appetizer. Our appetite has just grown since then. Here on the left is a place next to Bali. So Bali is in Indonesia. It's one of those sub-islands. We took a 7 or 8 hour flight from El Paso, Texas to Atlanta, Georgia. And then another major flight, 15 to 16 hours overnight flight to South Korea. And then from South Korea, we got to see some really advanced technology. Those Koreans, they're pretty advanced out there. From their bathrooms, toiletry is pretty advanced. Wi-Fi was just blazing fast. From there, we took a 9-hour flight down south, another 9-hour flight to Bali, Indonesia. Then we took a boat ride, a ferry, 2 hours to this little island. Then we took another 2 hours of a car through some very sketchy mountains where it was pretty dangerous, but we finally got to this cliff and we have this priceless moment, this picture, a lot of videos to get to a place called King Kling where it looks like a dragon, and it's just such an incredible view. This picture does no justice. Just to speed it up along a little, because Gus has incredible years of travel and experience and freedom. That's what we're here to talk about, freedom. Here's a picture of us in Hawaii. We decided to park it there for a little while, and we got to soak up the Hawaiian sun. Underrated. All the movies and the pictures, it's truly a land of paradise. We recently went to Tulum and loved it there. It's the Mexico's Hawaii. Got to see the Mexican ruins, cenotes, street tacos to fancy restaurants. Of course, a lot more beautiful sand and beaches. And all the while, just enjoying priceless amounts of time. I say this humbly. I've only had to work a total of, if you count the 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, probably I've only had to work, and I say it humbly because I've had a lot of incredible opportunities. My mother was an incredible business owner too, so I've been able to learn at the kitchen table from her. And she gave me incredible opportunities. So it's not just all me. I've only had to work 2 out of the last 7 years. Not in a row, but spaced it out. I've really had 5 years of freedom. And it's been so much fun to travel with my best friend, Violet. That's the lady on my right arm and my left arm. You know, she's just such a incredible person to be around. And I'm living that free life. It's incredible. I'm blessed, and I want to share it with you guys too. Gus, you have an even better story than I do, huh?
Yeah, well, it's yours is incredible by itself, and see the transformation you guys have made is nothing short of phenomenal. For me, like I often get asked this question, I got to laugh to myself. You must be a millionaire to do what you do. And literally for the last 10 years, I've traveled the world, 40 give or take countries around the world, and lived this lifestyle. And people say, oh, you got to be a millionaire. And they just don't understand. You don't have to be a millionaire to actually enjoy all these things. You really don't. And these are some pictures of some places I've been around the world. Now, the reason I have my before and after body pics aren't just to show off abs. They're actually to show that when I'm not in the survival mode, I can actually focus on other things that are of value to me, such as my health and all those kinds of things. So here I got to try food in Brazil, over here in lots of different places in Brazil. We go over here, that's me around different parts of the world in Africa. I got to spend time, a little bit of my hobbies, boxing training, touch. We play a sport called touch rugby over there. That's me in the middle picture here. At the bottom, actually in the Amazon jungle. I got, because of the lifestyle that I learned to create, I literally could spend 2 weeks in the jungle with a tribe in the Amazon jungle with no internet and no power for 2 weeks, learning all the ways they lived, which blew my mind and has changed me to this day. That's me catching a couple of crocodiles. Now, I did learn how to catch bigger ones, but that's a story for another day of how epic escape in the Amazon jungle. Throughout here, that's me in Thailand and different parts of the world. Now, over here, that's me in lots of different places around the world. I was in Rio. I got to eat snails in France. I got to hang out with a rabbi at the Wailing Wall in Israel. Got to hang out with Johnny Depp in LA streets. Now, my favorite food I got to try was in Mexico. And that dish that you see on the left there was actually my favorite food that I've ever tried anywhere in the world. I'd say that'd probably be my top 3, if not the top 1. Down in Tahiti, got to go to London. And then that's me in the Machu Picchu. And in the middle, that's me in Greece. All this I got to do year after year after year. Just 6 months of hard, dedicated thinking, planning, and it set me up as a golden goose for 10 years straight. And then more pictures to come. Again, London, that's me in Samoa, where I changed color. I actually went brown. You probably don't recognize me. And there I got to spend time under a banana tree in the Philippines. And on the left is a picture of me in Bali. We actually got to meet Antonio and Violet. And then in Dubai, that's me on a camel there. So I say this because this is what I've got to enjoy effortlessly for the last 10 years. And it wasn't about being a millionaire. It was about learning how to create the plan, changing your mindset, changing your subconscious, and great systems that can create this ongoing sense of lifestyle.
Yeah, because the alternative was this. Nothing wrong with it. You know, I was doing odd jobs. Guys, I kid you not, I've had 45 different jobs. And with the Ignite teaching, I was able to just triple my income. And those times that I was working, I was, you know, because we can ebb and flow. I was free and then I was not free. I kept going back and forth. And it wasn't until I met Gus that I truly was set free with Ignite principles. So we created a course called Ignite, where he's created an environment to educate you guys on life transformative principles to help inspire you live your dream lifestyle. Guys, we're about to give you guys the content, the meat of our presentation. If we promise to give you guys great content, is it okay? Do we have your permission at the very end to take 10 minutes to give you a great opportunity for you guys to consider? If that sounds fair, please type yes in the chat box. If that's okay, guys, if we have your permission to pitch you guys our course at the end, we'll take 10 minutes, but we promise to give you incredible content. If that's okay with you guys, please type yes in the chat box, and then we'll get into it. If you guys want to as well, what are some things financially you're looking to accomplish? Is it more travel? Maybe not during coronavirus, maybe not during COVID, but is it certain material things? Is it to be a better example, for others? Maybe you might be thinking of somebody else too, a friend or family that might need this kind of education. So at the very end, we will take a few minutes to share an opportunity for you guys. So this is the course that we have put together. Now, it's very structured, well laid out. We're going to be talking about creating money, keeping money, investing money, supercharging your financial subconscious. We'll talk about the history of economics. We'll do a financial analysis with you, financial blueprints with you. We'll brainstorm and help you create your golden goose. And we'll talk about that here today and help develop these systems to create financial security. So the course includes a lot more than that too.
By the way, I just see the permission. Thanks for your permission, Patricia and Hector. Feel free to just type yes if that's fine with you.
Thank you, guys. So the first problem that we see is, what's the mentality of the baby boomers versus millennials, Gen Z? I think I left out a generation in there. Is that Gen X? Gen Y? One of those.
Gen X. Yeah.
Gen X. What are the mentalities? Unfortunately, everybody knows some of these basics, yet they're always still in survival mode. Have you ever noticed the language people speak about money is just low conscious? It's scarcity. We can't afford it. We can't do it. I can't this. I can't that. And unfortunately, the media just totally feeds the fight or flight, freeze response. And it's triggering to the subconscious. They are preying on fear-based tactics. The reason for that is it's so effective. If they create scarcity, if they create fear, they have a lot more views. They have a lot more control. The goal of Ignite is to give you that control back. The goal of Ignite is for you to identify who are those crabs in a bucket who are just pulling you down, telling you can't do great things. Who are those people who are telling you that, you can't give because you won't get it back? I used to be the stingiest person in the world. I used to be what in my culture they call golo. It's just a Mexican saying for being stingy. And the great thing about what my mom has taught me, she's always had a great example of giving, but for some reason, I never picked that up. Through the Ignite courses, I was able to truly shift the mind patterns set myself up, because it's more than just the philosophy. Sometimes you got to physically set up different kind of bank accounts with different kind of purposes. We'll talk about those solutions, what we call the bucket system, to get out of fight or flight.
Yeah, so as we get through here, guys, we've got to realize that the brain has three main compartments called the three brain theory. And the idea is that the more our reptilian brain takes over, the less rational our thinking. So the whole idea of the current system that most people live in is they live week to week, paying bill to bill. And what that does is you're only operating with your survival instinctual brain. You're not able to access your higher brain, which is your ability to actually think creatively, perform at your best, love your life, be at peace. That's that environment where you can actually excel as a human being. If you've ever been caught in a place where you're just trying to hang in a job because you've got bills to pay this week, you're not making your best decisions. I just want you to enter in the chat box if you can relate. Just say yes. If you've ever been in a situation where you're hanging into a job just so that you can pay the next bill, you're caught in fight flight. Feel free to just enter yes in the chat box.
Exactly. Have you also ever just been in a situation where the future was uncertain? We'll talk a little bit more about that, because that's such a debilitating, rampant disease of fight or flight, scarcity mentality that I would say most men feel. They're just working and working and working, and there's never enough money. They're working and working and working. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for participating.
Thank you, Yolanda. Yeah, brilliant. Great interaction, guys.
Yes. And let's keep pushing. Let's keep pushing. So what's a second problem that we see? Poor financial management. We're not here to tell you guys what to do. Of course, this is information. Learning is remembering. You know this stuff. What we are offering you guys is structure and accountability. If you don't discipline yourself, sometimes it's okay to borrow somebody else's discipline. That's why we go to personal trainers. We all know that the information's out there to get a six-pack and a fit body. But sometimes we need accountability and a community, and sometimes we need structure. So let's talk about poor financial management. What does that look like? Most of the people under 35 years old I'm seeing are not saving up for anything. They're literally just paycheck to paycheck. And that's not a race thing. That's not a Mexican thing. That's not a black thing. That's not a New Zealand thing. That's totally a wealth consciousness thing. That is a common denominator amongst all human beings is green. Are you operating in a low conscious financial state or a high conscious financial state? Unfortunately, there's trends. There's a reason why pawn shops and like those cash loan places for your title loan places are in the lower income aspects of the neighborhoods. There's a reason why people just willingly give their money away to any whim, a TV, a PlayStation 5, the next car, because they have to have it, just buying liabilities. But you guys decided to click the link. You guys trusted us. Maybe you guys are being nice, but hopefully you're finding some value, and hopefully you're finding that maybe it is time to make some changes, and maybe it is time to actually get to the next levels. Because if you're not growing, you're dying. Or if you're not a running reservoir, a waterfall of water, you're a stagnant pool. And maybe you have some holes in your bank accounts. Maybe your ship has some holes and water's coming in to sink your ship. We will teach you guys with this bucket system how to really plug the holes in and how to treat your money properly. The third biggest thing that we're seeing, biggest problem, is people who are stuck in the rat race. What that means, guys, is no control. Have you ever seen a hamster on a wheel? This is how it looks like. Let's work harder. Happiness is just around the corner. Let's work harder. Let's earn more money. Happiness is just right around the corner. The biggest pitfall. Let's buy more things. Oops, all that hard work just went to things. Happiness is right around the corner. That's the rat race right there. What about this one right here? Maximum job security. That's what that looks like. Guys, the security is in your own mind. The security is in the abundance of what the world has to offer. It's truly just the way you're thinking. The scarcity is the lies that we've been led to believe. Stop me if I'm lying. Give me some examples. What about these people? What about these people? And I will tell you that they have given up their control. They have literally connected the chains to themselves, to the system. And that's because that's blind people leading the blind. You might be saying, I'm so busy, I don't have time for financial education. Let me think about it. How much will it cost me? But there's truly people who are planning their escape. There's truly people who are planning their freedom. It gives them purpose. It gives them a North Star. It makes them pumped up with every day, because do you know what your passion and calling truly is? The music that's in you that is meant to be brought out. Guys, I know that there's a lot of noble and amazing professions out there, but there is higher levels of creativity that only you can do. There's a lot of jobs that people do need. It's just different levels. It's kind of like when we're 18 years old, we do the entry-level jobs. Then we move up to management and leadership. What is sad to me sometimes is people park it in a position and coast when you're meant to be creators. You're meant to be the boss. You're meant to be putting the teams together. But that's a different concept and at different levels. But let's really work on escaping the matrix. Guys, it's not things. It's not materialism. That is the American lie. Now, don't get me wrong. I like nice things. I want a Rolex. I want nice cars, but I don't want them to own me. I don't want those things to own me. I want to continue to own my life and call the shots. Gus helped me escape out of the matrix and stay out of the matrix. You know how much confidence and freedom I feel every day knowing that I'm choosing every day how I live every day.
I just want to say welcome in to the new registrants. If you're just new, just check in the chat box, say hi. Great to have you on board. Welcome in, Kieran. Welcome in, everyone. Great to have you with us.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing, guys. Everybody that registered for the course is attended. I just feel like there's the true need. I just truly think that there's a need out there for guidance. I feel like there's a true need out there for leadership. I feel like there's a true need for abundance preaching. And I know it's not Sunday, guys, but man, just stop us if we're lying. Let's talk about the solutions. The subconscious mind is powerful, right, Gus?
Absolutely. So the subconscious, this is kind of my pie to eat. I love understanding the subconscious. It's what I've invested a lot of my time in thinking, and I've recently become a hypnotherapist, fully qualified now. But within this has massive impact on our finances, guys. If we just get our subconscious in line, everything changes. They say to change your world, most people go to try and change the physical world. But if you change your mind, the world in which you see changes before you. So the key to changing the world is to change yourself first, and everything subsequently changes. So I want to explain the first pillar that we want to offer you guys for absolute free, a free insight, which is the subconscious. Now, I want you guys to write in the chat box what number you range between in your financial thinking. Now, down right below, we've got -5 would be literally begging to stay alive. At the very height of financial abundance is called financial freedom. Now, I'm going to take a second to define them so you can understand. Now, at 0, you're breaking even. And this is where I literally see a lot of people living. They live between -2 and 0. So they subconsciously, actually, as soon as they get to comfort level, they then relax, and then they go back down and they get into debt again. They get loans, they relax, and they go, and they get scary enough that they're going to be debt collectors. So they go, I better change my habits, and they come right up. So many people know what to do. They just don't realize it's the same energy to go from 0 to development to security than it is to go from literally debt recovery to breaking even. But people don't understand that. But this, guys, is massive. And what we do literally in the financial course is we offer you the blueprint, the literal blueprint of how you guys can change your thinking at a subconscious level. So you now have a financial vision in your heart that will progress you forward even without even trying. I just have, thank you, Hector 2.5, classic. So that's great. In between savvy and security, I love it. Zero, Yolanda. Okay, so you're used to breaking even. Feel free to put a range, even if you've been in range. But I want you to understand, if you see the picture on the right here, when you feel out of it, you can be down in the ditch, like you just get up to the top and you sink back down. What I want to do is I want to give you a whole system that not only will get you out of the ditch, so you're actually breaking even, standing on ground. Most people think that's a victory. I want to take you above that and help you project into the higher levels. And firstly, to just develop. Secondly, to feel savvy, to actually feel you can be free to spend. And the question was, Patricia, what number range do you feel like you've ranged over the last 2 years, like between all these levels? And so savvy is being able to spend freely. Security is being able to not work for 6 months if you wanted to, like literally have that level of financial security, where I call it the FU factor to your boss if you needed to. Exactly where you feel you're at on the scale. What range? Good question, Hector. And independence is being able to pretty much live independently, so you don't need an employer. And finally, the highest level is this level, which I think is incredible, which is being able to do what you want, when you want, where you want, wherever you want, with who you want, which is literally, I've been ranging between 4 and 5 over the last 10 years. And this course is designed to give you the cheat sheet of how to get there. So I'm really excited to offer you all these amazing secrets and insights of it.
This lesson was profound and powerful. I want to touch on it too. When me and Violet got real with our finances, and we, figured out where we were at, we were always hovering, unfortunately, from debt recovery to dependence, breaking even. Once we were honest and real with ourselves, we were like, okay, so now how do we get to development? How do we get to savvy? And it just became a simple plan. And with the Ignite Foundations, we were able to set it and forget it. I stopped worrying about finances and I started working on my creative projects, things that give me passion and juice and meaning and contribution. And we created a beautiful vision of what independence and freedom looks like. One of our visions and part of the course is we want to buy a few acres of beautiful Maui or Kauai, Hawaiian land. And we want to live off the grid. Just, we'll still go to the grocery store and still use the grid, but we want to be completely self-sufficient. Not that we believe in apocalypses or anything, but we just feel like that's just the ultimate wealth, is to be that self-sustainable. Have our own garden, few of the animals, and just live right by the beach and the ocean. And that to me is freedom. And then being able to catch a flight to go visit my mom, catch a flight to see my brothers, catch a flight to hopefully be on stage and continue to be on my purpose. And defining it is powerful, and this is why the subconscious has clarity.
Exactly. And on that, what Antonio is saying, this is the most amazing part, guys. I will teach you how you literally create your own definition for financial freedom, independence, and security. You don't have to take mine. You create your own reality, and then we give you the blueprint of how to get there. So it's going to be something you create from the inside out. And we show you the tools and how to get there and how to use that sequentially with the right recipe.
Exactly. So that's subconscious. Of course, we go more into depth in the course. The course is already done, by the way. I'll be giving you guys more information at the end. Let's talk about the bucket system. We'll give you a bite-sized piece of what this lesson is in the course. The bucket system is simply what you've heard is when you get paid $1, what happens to that dollar? Do you have a plan for every penny? Or $100, do you have a plan for every dollar bill? If the answer is no, and it kind of just gets pulled in many directions, there's no wonder why you're not making that much progress. If the percentages don't matter, right? The first 30% should go into your investing bucket, active capital. Your second bucket should be passive income.
Like so just explaining that a bit, it's like the active is something that you're going to improve on. So you get to reinvest in you and become a better version of yourself. Or even what we'll teach you is the golden goose in the next part. Just to let you guys know, during COVID, I made 50% on my stocks, literally over COVID. Now we've got 12 attendees, so I don't know how that happened, but welcome in, everyone that's here. But I just want to let you know that this is an incredible plan. You can just sit and wait, and at the right time, you're going to cash in on that opportunity of making, and we teach you how to actually make passive investments. So I've literally made more money than I've made in any investments last year, and I did it doing literally zero, just sitting and waiting and I had that allocated of money, and it wasn't mine, it was my investment money, and it happened. And then, of course, we got the bucket 3, which is giving. How great is it to know that you've got a set amount and you know that's just dedicated to giving? You don't have to question it, you don't think about it, but you have that option.
Exactly. And because I was so stingy, those buckets were extremely important, because the more I give, the more I want to increase those percentages, because it feels so good to give. There's some, we're now starting to help a foster family with foster kids and volunteer. And I just feel like the more we continue to follow these principles, the more we're being called upon to continue to keep doing good work. And just being able to have it as a percentage.
100%. Like, and just reiterating that, guys, you'll learn in the course, it's not about, you say, I don't have 10% to give. That doesn't matter. It's about the plan, not the amount. So even if it's a 1% at the start, it doesn't matter. And we'll show you how this works. And it gets really exciting. Now, the next 70% of your income, this was a game changer for me. And I want to offer you this content free, just straight out. But this changed my life. And I'll tell you, there was one time in my life, I got caught up in my passion of just putting all my money to the next thing I wanted. And I tell the story in one of the emails, like I worked my whole summer one year to buy a brand new car. I think it was I forget what type of car, but it was a car that I thought made me look cool. So I put all my money into it, only for me to lose all that value in one foul swoop. And I was young and dumb enough not to have insurance. I had a dog, which I pulled up in time, not to hit the dog. The dog hit me, dented the car, dented the window, smashed the window. The cost of the repair was worth equivalent to all the money I put into the car. And I learned a valuable lesson that day. I had no emergency bucket. I didn't have a bills bucket. I didn't have any of these other buckets, and I felt completely back in survival mode. All my hard work gone in a moment. And when I created this, guys, I literally, just for the emergency bucket alone, I could access my high level of thinking at work and everything, because I wasn't in a panic mode. If I had something to pay, I literally got a speeding ticket the other day, and guess what? I didn't even panic. I just took it from the officer. I accepted it. And straight away, I didn't even worry about it, because I knew I've got my emergency bucket, which always has at least $1,000 in it. Now, that $1,000 may not sound much, but it does so much for the mind when you are tempted to go into fight-flight mode. And each one of these buckets with the next 70% literally has a purpose. So Splash is about, have you been wanting to do something that someone offers you a chance to do and you not have the money? But you could imagine having an account you could just dip into, take that money, splash on it, and not give it a second thought. Well, with this system, you get to do that. And then I'll touch on one more, because the others are so exciting to go into, but I'll touch on the bills. Just to give you an idea, I've never had to pay a bill in the last 10 years. Now, you might say, how is that possible? In this bills account, I teach you guys how to work out what your bills are on an annual scale, break that down into a weekly price or whenever your pay comes in, and literally set up an AP with a buffer that you never have to think about again. And all the APs happen off that. So never again do you have to pay a bill. So it's an amazing system when it works like that.
AP being automatic percentage.
Automatic payment, sorry, yeah.
Automatic payment. And this is a genius, Essentially, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus the other 3. 9 different bank accounts, ideally, or 9 different allocations just to start off with. And like I said, the amounts don't matter. It's the principles. It's being a steward to these financial technologies that over time, as you create abundance and you work hard and you set up a golden goose, which is the next pillar, they'll take care of you for a lifetime, like Gus said, and you'll never have to worry about bills. All right, guys, let's talk about a golden goose. Tell me yes or no if you've heard the golden goose story. Anybody? I'll give you guys quick 20 seconds. Tell me yes, I've heard it, or no, I haven't. The golden goose story.
All right, the golden goose story. Well, let me break it to you if you haven't heard it. One day, Jimmy comes out to check on his farm. Oh, to be sure, Mary, I can't believe what I see. Lifts up the golden goose, and what does it see? Oh, to be sure, it's a golden egg. I can't believe it, Mary. And she says, what are you going to do with it? He says, I'm going to go to the local market and sell it. So he goes down to the local market, sells it, makes $1,000 off it. Oh, this is great, Mary. I got $1,000 off my first egg. This is wonderful. So what do? The next day, they fatten up the goose. They feed it the best food. They put it in the best stable, and they go and nurture it. And what happens the next morning? Oh, I can't believe it, Mary. The goose has laid two golden eggs. It's incredible. So goes down to the local market, sells it, makes $2,000, brings it back, gets so excited, repeats. In fact, works the goose so hard that the next week on the Monday, he goes out to check on the golden goose. Oh, I'm excited, Mary. I can't believe it. I think the goose is going to lay a whole bunch more eggs today. Picks up the goose, finds out it lays no egg. There's no egg there. Mary, I can't believe it. The stupid goose didn't lay an egg for us. What are we going to do with it? Well, why don't you cut it open and see if you can find a goose in it? Find an egg in it. So he takes the knife, cuts it open, reaches in and goes, I'm going to find a goose. And guess what? Zero. There's no egg. There's nothing. Just tumbleweed. What's the lesson? The lesson, if you neglect your goose, eventually it stops producing golden eggs. So one of the most important lessons to learn with finances is create something that creates wealth with you that ongoing perpetuates. And like I said, my bonus in this, if you stick to the end, is I'm literally going to tell you step by step how I created my golden goose. 6 months investment that paid for 10 years of my lifestyle around the world where people thought I was a millionaire. And literally, I'll tell you, I was not.
Yes, and throughout the course, we'll break down, we'll brainstorm, and we'll help you fully execute a golden goose that lays golden eggs. And with the purchase of the course too, it's a lifetime access. Gus and I aren't going anywhere. This is our life's mission. Gus has been doing this for a decade, and we haven't come up with a full guarantee yet, but right now we're guaranteeing we're going to help you guys one-on-one create your golden goose that will lay golden eggs even while you sleep. It's a simple just a difference of principles. I'm sure you might have heard of the cash flow quadrant before. Kiyosaki's a genius with this, but if you're always trading your time for money, right? Little clock, money. If you're always trading your time for money, there's a reason why only 5% of the wealth is on this quadrant. Self-employed, or you're a specialist, a doctor, lawyer, high professional. Most of the population aspire to be at that level, but they still trade their time for money. We give you the confidence, the belief, and the systems and the tactics and the training and the structure and accountability to help you be a business owner and an investor. Maybe you've been waiting for the perfect time, all the green lights to hit. Maybe you've been waiting for getting all your ducks in a row, but guys, we'll give you that nice, firm little push. We'll lead you, guide you, never judge you, always love you, and help you get to this right side of the quadrant. It feels so much better when you are. But what about that Rona, though? You guys might be wondering, man, is the economy really good right now? Is coronavirus going to continue to stay? When is it going to be over? I don't know all the answers, but with Gus and I combined, we have 20 years of business experience. We have seen a lot. We have been some of the best students in our classes, and now I believe we're getting blessed with a lot of students ourselves now and as teachers. The wisdom says the future, you can't predict the future, but you can learn from the past. And the future's probably going to look just like the past. Opportunity mixed with difficulty. You can summarize it as simply as that. There will be massive amounts of opportunity in the next couple months and weeks. When the housing market crashes, when the stock market crashes, when unemployment is all-time high, when the next president is even worse than whichever presidents you think are worse. All those things matter, but maybe not that much. Who knows? What really matters is your own economy, your own finances. I have known like Gus and many others who have done so well under hard times. It just depends on what information you're learning and where your mindset is at. A lot of great and successful companies started during hard times. There's never been a better time to invest in yourself and to do something different. The ultimate goal of what we want to achieve with Ignite Finance is to help build and grow your finances, to ultimately help you achieve a much better lifestyle and a much free lifestyle. We have a few bonuses as part of not just the information. We have an exclusive private Facebook community. There's a saying that goes, as iron sharpens iron, so does one person to another. Have you ever wanted to be part of a close-knit community with like-minded goals? Have you been ever wanting to ask questions or to kind of save time and money? I've been blessed to have coaches and mentors my whole life because I was sold on mentorship. There's a process that we lost many years ago, hundreds of years ago. There was masters and there was apprentices. An apprentice would go to a master to be a blacksmith, a farmer, a knight, whatever you vibe with. And we have seemed to lost that to our industrial and information age.
I just want to ask a question on that. I just want you to put in the chat box if you've benefited in the past from being accountable to someone. Has your results improved? Just type yes or no in the chat box if you've ever had someone in your life that's kept you accountable and it's actually improved your life.
You know, I also want to share too. Facebook has millions of communities. There's no lack of information, no lack of leaders out there too. There's so many YouTube influencers. There's so many gurus out there, but ultimately, I just think it's whoever you feel like you vibe with the most, whoever you can relate to the most, whoever you might have most access to. We can't
Thanks,
all.
Patricia. Thanks, Yolanda.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. We can't all be part of. We can't get one-on-one mentorship from Tony Robbins. We can't get from Tim Ferriss or whoever.
Thanks, Hector. I see Hector said the best growth of his life was when he's accountable to a mentor. Sorry, Antonio.
Exactly. No. Interrupt me at any time. Flowing. You know, I want to hear. You're still my mentor. You're still my coach. I learn from when you're speaking. But just think back about a time when you were part of a close community. This private Facebook community is going to be incredible. Again, we are just starting it. You guys are being part of the grassroots, but we're going to be covering anything and everything financial and financial consciousness. That can get spiritual sometimes. And that's where we intend to promote that kind of content. There'll be challenges. There'll be different things that Gus and I and Violet come up with to keep you guys engaged and pursuing your goals. It's extremely valuable. Now, you might be saying, I already know these things, or I don't need to invest in these things, or I could just do it all myself. Well, how's that working out for you? If you keep telling yourself the same story, if you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to keep getting what you've always gotten. Have you found yourself at a plateau? Have you found yourself at a good level, but great still there? That's what we want to offer you guys. We don't have all the answers, and we're not perfect, but we're offering a new tribe to be a part of, a new community, and we care, and we have the dedication to you guys. We have another bonus as well, too. Once you have completed the course, not only do you get one-on-one private coaching, because you'll be able to speak the same language, you'll now also, if you're interested and qualified, be able to mentor and coach others as well. Have you ever had that need? Have you been around the block, learned some things, and you want to have a platform to contribute? You can now be an Ignite mentor with the completion and certification of our course. You don't have to do any of the marketing. You don't have to do any of the setup. You can literally just start contributing, and you can help us wake people up from the financial matrix. Guys, we're really excited about this bonus.
I'm so excited about this one, man.
Yep.
Once COVID clears.
We are going to be giving a free ticket to our Ignite Financial Mastery Conference in Bali next year. Next year, and Hector has I'll let you guys feast your eyes on some of the Bali pictures, but Hector says, coincidentally, I just read the best things in life come from people working together and sharing ideas. Interdependence. Just covered that part of the book. Yeah, he's reading the 7 Habits, so he's seeing the bigger picture. We want to work synergistically with you guys. We're not up here and you guys are down here. We're all working together. What we're offering is that structure and accountability. We're telling you guys that we've been accountable to ourselves. We've put together an incredible product, and we are more on fire than ever before. Next year, guys, this ticket is valued at $1,000. Most conferences out there, that's the price. Some are $2,000, $5,000, and $10,000. But you will be getting a free ticket to our Financial Mastery Conference
And
next
for
year.
those Kiwis that are online, that's actually $1,000 US, just to make the distinction.
Yes, 1,000 US. I know that the financial currency difference. So that's what you're getting as part of being a founding member. It won't be this way all the time. I just was learning and watching from another webinar the other day about real estate. Guys, multiple thousands of dollars. But we're very excited. Not only is it going to be financial mastery, Ignite has a lot of components to it. Spiritual. We'll be doing yoga. We'll be meditating. If that's your thing, if that's not your thing, you can hang by the villa or the pool.
Yeah, so just explaining a bit of the retreat, the vision of it is it's going to be rejuvenation for the body, mind, soul, and spirit. So we are a complete human individual. It'll be a chance for you to share your most exciting stories, to create the vision of your lifetime going forward, but also just to rejuvenate, defrag, and be with a bunch of like-minded people and get your spirit to soar. But we will have a specific part of the conference, which will be Ignite Financial Mastery at that retreat in Bali.
Exactly. And that's something that the more the merrier. We see the first one being a few hundred people, and it has enough space for that. It's a big enough place for a few hundred people. There's big conferences going around all over the world, and we're excited to be hosting one ourselves too, and you guys will be a big part of that. We will be your virtual mentors. We are not there face to face, but a long way can go. With COVID, people found more time to appreciate the community in the internet. And now, of course, you can never replace face to face, and that's where the conference comes. Right now, we're just planning it once a year, but may go to twice a year. And of course, they're always optional. But what is the value we're talking about here?
Yeah, so I just wanted to do this because I think what I wanted to really hone down on here, guys, is what's the value of getting out of the rat race? Like, it's not just literally getting into financial abundance. Think of the compounding cost of living in survival mode. When people live in survival mode, they often have to dip into their credit card to get themselves out of situations. What happens? They get a compounding 20% interest rate just on that credit card. What happens when you can't afford to not work, but you're sick? You get more and more sick. And I see this happen to people time and time again. They don't have the abundance mentality, which puts them more and more in the stress. What happens is people pay tens of thousands of dollars to get through a midlife crisis, to get well again. The compounding is just exponential. So that value of that alone, that mindset, I would pay more than 10 grand. I was in that mode just to alleviate myself of that brain fog. That's how valuable that part is to me. And that's just simply on the first aspect of financial abundance. What about chasing your tail? People pay for coaching 2 grand and upwards to get that bucket system mentality. And what about sacrificing things you want now to pay your bills? Imagine never having to sacrifice again the things that you really care about just in order to survive. So true financial freedom, I believe it's 2 grand and infinitum. People pay these prices, but we're not even going to ask you anywhere near those prices.
And I want to come back to those slides too, because by the hour mark, guys, thank you guys so much for staying with us to this point. We are now going to open it up for registrants. We're not going to be paying and charging you guys 2 to 5 grand, although that is the eventual goal. In 6 months, we will be charging $2,000 for this course. It's just what the market rate is going for right now. People are thirsting for community. People are starving for wisdom because we're drowning in information. Everything's free on YouTube. Everything's free on Google, but people are gravitating towards leadership and courses for the structure and the accountability. What we decided, the value of the Facebook group, the value of the financial course, the value of the one-on-one coaching sessions, the value of the ability to be able to mentor and create a revenue stream doing that as well. The value of the Ignite Financial Retreat is for $597. But because you guys are here as the beta version, literally grassroots guys, we're taking another 50% off just today, just right now, just tonight. Take a look. I'm now throwing out the offer.
All right, we're still on there. Basically, what we're saying is we're throwing out the offer. We're putting out the offer to you guys now to pretty much decide on whether this is right for you. But pretty much we're giving you all of these things on tap and for free. And we're going to be starting the timer really shortly. So it's going to be a 30-minute timer, and in which you're going to have the opportunity to basically purchase this course for this price. We're not going to be able to do this price again. Antonio, you're back.
I am. I clicked on the wrong button. I'm so sorry, guys.
Classic. No, I was just saying this is the only real time they're going to have opportunity to buy it at this price, right?
Yes.
This is just for the founding members.
And I hate to come off as salesy, guys. I hope you feel our heart. I hope you feel like we're being genuine. We truly just feel like this is the value. People do not value things that they get for free. But give me a few minutes if you want to take over, Gus, for about 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure. So as Antonio sorts that out, we're going to put on a timer. It's going to be 30 minutes. You've got 30 minutes to sort it out. But I just want to really emphasize, I want you to see this as, and this is what I was taught from Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins, it's about taking an investment in yourself. When you do that, you start to value yourself. So instead of seeing it as something you're losing, I see it as something you're gaining. It's like, man, what better way for me was to actually put an investment of money into myself, my own learning, my development. And guess what? It always paid back in buckets. I just want you to enter in the chat box if you've ever made an investment in yourself and it's actually paid off. You're actually happy. So just put a Y or yes if you've ever had that experience of investing in something and it's benefited your life down the track.
Yes. Also, hopefully successfully put a link to the course to get that discount offer. Apologize, guys. This is definitely why, we appreciate your patience. And
this is our first webinar, guys, so we really appreciate that. Thanks for that, Hector. He says definitely experienced when he's invested in himself, the benefit. Like, honestly, for every time I've actually invested in myself, I've never gone looking for that investment. It's always paid me back in bucket loads. But like we promised, is it time now to actually give the bonus?
Well, I think we can go a few more minutes of content here. I did upload the link.
We've got more content to go.
And then we will have that 30-minute timer I was saying, because once we pretty much close off the webinar, then the price will go up to $600. But I just truly believe, what is the cost of waiting, right? What's the cost of doing a routine that just doesn't give you fulfillment? Like, I believe it's important to work and to have a financial stability. Of course, we're not just saying to be homeless, but I truly want to see people live their full potential. And what is it costing you to be stuck? What is it costing you to not have a financial plan?
Yeah, right.
Good one.
I wanted to come back to these slides too, which we were talking about. So we didn't quite fulfill them, but then we come to survival mode. Like, what is it costing you to stay in survival mode? Think about emotionally, physically. What do you sacrifice in your health to stay in survival mode? What do you sacrifice emotionally, like the emotions you experience on a daily basis? I can tell you this story. This was incredible, right? When I was working in survival mode, I literally would get sick twice a year, all the time during winter. Like, I'd get a cold and flu, and it was because I felt the stress. I had to be up at a certain hour. I had to be under the pump. You know what? Literally, when I actually got out of the rat race and I could create life on my terms, I never got sick for years. Like, it just didn't happen to the same frequency. I was out of survival mode, and I grew in confidence, had more negotiation power, got more promotions, risk taking. All of that was part of it. I was able to access my flow state far more easily, and I was able to have abundant living at whole new levels. Antonio.
Guys, when I got out of the matrix per se, I stopped judging myself. It gets really deep because, and to a spiritual level, in a personal level, because money is personal. One of the homeworks Gus had me do is write down and remember the earliest memories you've had with money. Have you ever thought about how you formed your opinions of money? What you learned from your parents with money that maybe still be carrying on with you? Generational curses they call it, or have you just ever stopped to realize what is your relationship with money? Have you mastered it, or is it still mastering you? This is something that is beyond, just I also want you guys to think about what we spend our money on. Wherever you spend your money on is what you truly value. I see people spend money on, I don't judge because I do it too, but on TVs, electronics, clothes, makeup, jewelry. I guess just things. And it keeps us where we're at. It makes us feel better for the decisions that we've made, but not at the deepest core. And what we're offering, guys, is truly to have our help, accountability to get out of this rat race.
And yeah, like on that note, just talking what he's on, to me, this was priceless. The ability to go from out of the slave system to have the blueprint of literally escaping the matrix towards true freedom. Like, what value would you put on that? To not be bound by the government when they say this is the way you're going to live, to literally be able to live on your terms, to have the blueprint of how to do that. What price would you say that's worth to you?
Exactly. Let's keep going. Let's keep pushing. I want to say one more thing too. Let's think beyond ourselves a little bit too. And who do you know is stuck in the rat race? Who do you know has no clue or no idea or barely learning about money? They might be saying, I got to do this, this, and this to get a better job. I got to do this, this, and this to get a better paying job. Here is the reality in the news. There is no such thing. It's truly a corporate plantation. It's modern day slavery. When you see how much abundance there is, when you realize how easy it is to start living for free, you would never give up your freedom anymore. When you also start realizing that money is actually the lowest form of value. Money is dead. It only, when you give it a purpose, when you give money a purpose, it comes to life. So money just sitting there in the bank account just doesn't do anything. Holding on to that money too, in a purposeful way, is what we're talking about. So let's keep going. Of course, you're getting the financial course, all those videos. You're getting the Facebook group, the exclusive Facebook group. It's a private community you can't enter in without purchasing the course. You're getting one-on-one coaching sessions. Gus charges X amount of dollars for every coaching client. I charge X amount of dollars for every coaching client. I've seen weekend transformation seminars ranging from $500 up to $2,000. But today, guys, you'll be getting it for $297, and that does include the ticket to our Ignite Financial Conference, valued at $1,000 US.
So there's some key questions here. I just want you guys to ponder is, imagine where your life will go financially if you do not take action and invest in your financial education. And I want you to ask yourself this question. Will it be better or worse on your current path and habits? And to what degree? And look, only you guys can answer that, but I want you to ask yourself that honestly. Would this investment be better? And now imagine if you do invest in yourself and how to take control of your finances. I want you to ask yourself this question. How will your life be in 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year from now? And also, how will you feel about that? But I know now the investment I made all those years ago, I am so much happy. I'm so thankful that I made that investment in myself, because my life, I get to wake up every day with no stress, no pressure financially. I get to get up, live life on my terms, love my life, love setting my schedule, doing all the things that I want. I can accelerate whatever I want in my life now because I got that foundation. Years ago, I didn't have that, but I'm so thankful now. And so when I ask myself that question, if I didn't make these decisions now and I went back on my autopilot without all of this knowledge, my life would just go downward. So I want you to honestly ask yourself that question as we ponder this. So carrying on, we've just see that Antonio's just run out of Wi-Fi there. He's coming back online. But as we ponder that, guys, I want you to think of this whole idea of basically autopilot versus vision. So down here, we've got defense only without a vision on autopilot. And then on the right, you've got on attack. And it feels like without a vision, you're pretty much playing defense. You're going from begging and you're just going up to breaking even. And I just want you to put in the chat box if you can relate to that. Have you ever felt like you haven't had a vision and that you've only been playing defense? Well, in this course, we're going to show you literally like how you can play attack, how you can use vision to access what you want and to go to where you want to be. So it's really important that you develop a vision if you want to play attack. Otherwise, it's like you can only ever play defense. Like imagine playing football where you could only ever stop goals and you couldn't score them. Well, I want to give you the ability to start scoring your own goals instead of having to just defend them. So consider this as you think about going for the course and just more things that we offer within it. And I want to just create that offer now, guys. We want to start that timer. So now you've got access to that webinar discount. So just put in the chat box if you can access the offers. If you can see you could access that, I want you to just check with me that you can see that. But basically, I just want to reiterate the things that are actually going to benefit you. So the emergency bucket, that alone alleviates fear, worry, conservative living, limited to risk-taking, creative thinking, fearlessness, negotiation ability, creating a better quality of life. That's just the emergency bucket alone has done that for me and countless clients. The splash system, which you mentioned before, it'll alleviate, on the negative side, it gets you out of regret, scarcity, guilt, anger, frustration, and it converts you into freedom, fun, fearlessness, and power. Okay, the Super Saver is designed to get out of hopelessness and being unbalanced to being purposeful, excited, confident, and certain. Thanks, Hector. Thanks for the confirmation. So the offer stands now. We're just going to set that timer so that you guys can see that timer. So we're just setting it 30 minutes from now. So you're free to actually start getting that bonus offer now. We're going to start that timer now. Just reiterating more, the Super Saver, the Steady Saver, it goes from fear of it all going to long-term abundance and certainty. And the Bills Blaster, I love this one. So imagine going from anxiety, fear, and worry, tension and doubt, and scarcity to confidence, certainty, peace, growth, and prosperity. Now, that's literally what the Bills Blaster did for me. When I figured out how I could literally pay all my bills on autopilot, that was an amazing game changer. And then the long-term saver will go from fear of the future, having to choose either one, the present. Most people go from having to choose the present at the expense of the future, or vice versa. And it converts over to confidence, certainty, peace, control, purpose, and agency. And so that alone is just simply the bucket system. And those are all the things that it can give you. Financial awareness, confidence and self-esteem, secrets of the wealthy. We're also going to offer within this whole system a proven blueprint for a golden goose. And that will give you pride, confidence, excitement. You know, people pay thousands of dollars for that, and it's going to convert into freedom and lifestyle. And we're also going to offer you a proven strategy for long-term investing, security, freedom, and lifestyle. And then I love this one. It'll be a system, plan, and strategy to be self-sufficient, independent, and be able to live off the grid, which to me converts into peace of mind, confidence, self-assurance, self-pride, power, and what I call the FU factor, the ability to have that in charge with your boss. Now, here we come to this slide, and I really like this one because it's kind of like we're not all born with 10 out of 10 talent. Some of us are born with 2 out of 10 talent in certain areas. But vision, everyone can develop a vision. And so person A might have been born, you might remember this back to your childhood when you're at school. Some people are born with all the talent in the world, and you might remember people in your classroom like that, right? You might not have had that, but here's what happens. The natural people, they perform really well at the start, but with no vision over time, it actually starts to drag and get worse. The person with the vision that knows how to access that, they may not start out as flashy. You might not start out with all the ability, but guess what? As you develop your vision, your plan, you exponentially get better. It's just like interest growing in the bank, that as you actually hone your talent, hone your ability, you actually exponentially increase it. So I want to share with you that as you master these principles, think of investing in yourself. It will literally lead to that growth. So now you've hung around for now. Here's a few testimonials people have already said about the course. Beto and Lupe said after the second or third session, we were sold. We actually started to believe in an economic future. We realized mindset was everything. And they said specifically, the course taught us how to transform our economic subconscious default position. Now that, guys, an amazing story. I was coaching them 1-on-2, and I literally saw them convert. Their body language changed. By the third week, they looked more relaxed. They more certain. And within 3 months, they had actually developed a whole new business system, and they were on their way to financial freedom, which was incredible. From where they were literally in survival, fight and flight mode, week to week. They said that changed their whole world. They were amazing to work with. Then we have Vanessa, who is just an outstanding young woman, but she definitely had anchored thinking from the past, which was just completely immersed in the survival mode. So I had the pleasure and privilege of working with her. And she said, this course helped me so much. I love the bucket system it provides. It's so easy to set up. I love the feeling of power and control it gave me on my decisions. I feel like I found a system that looks after me, and I don't even have to think about it. Now, it was just incredible working with her because she literally transformed before my eyes. Just to give you an idea, she was only a 19-year-old. She was a bit scared. She never traveled out of the country. And within weeks, she had set up a system to not only pay her bills, become independent, but she was literally traveling to other countries, other states rather, to Hawaii, and she was setting up a whole new lifestyle, which for her at the time was incredibly scary. Just several months prior to that, she transformed her thinking. So that was just an example of how the bucket system and the mindset alone transformed her financial journey. That's not to mention the other things that she got out of it. So again, a 5-star rating there. And of course, Antonio and Violet, two of the early students of this, they said the course changed their lives. They learned how to guard the downside. They got inspired about the blueprint, and they learned how to create the golden goose. And they're so happy they did the course. So for them, it was a game changer. So that's just a few testimonials. We've got many more, but we don't have time to go into them all. Like we said, you guys are getting the bonus price today. So you've got an opportunity to actually purchase it now. So when you go to, if you go to purchase it, all you got to do is put in your details like that. It'll come up with the link, and there are financial options as well. So if you don't have the money available right away, there's paper options, I think mainly for the US people. Now, like I promised, because we've lost signal with Antonio, I'm going to now literally share with you guys my step-by-step way of literally how I got out of the rat race. And this was 10 years ago. So if you've got any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box now about anything to do with the course or whatever. But it's been great having you guys with us. So without further ado, let me share with you the bonus case study. Well, it got down to the point where I was in a job which I didn't fully love. I felt a bit trapped there because I had a mortgage to pay and I had bills to pay. But I knew I wanted to run my business, but I didn't want to live in survival mode. So I had a decision to make. I have a picture there of some seed money. Now that was my money that I had in order to either hang on to tightly and try and spend really smartly, or I could invest it and improve myself, improve my position. So I had an idea. I could actually turn this money and invest in myself and invest in my house. So I had a house and I had a double garage. At the time, I was living inside the house. But because I'd done the financial blueprint, I knew I needed to live for free, and I had a way to do it. I started to put my skills, upgrade myself, and I had some very handy friends helping me to transform my garage into 2 sleepouts. So I got to work. I used that money, that small seed money I had, instead of hanging on to it and losing it, I invested it. And literally step by step, I turned this, what you see here, I learned how to put windows in, I learned how to line walls, I turned this old garage, laid carpet, learned how to actually plaster the wall, jib over the wall. And that's sort of a picture of all the things that I put together. At the start, I showed you the fruits of what I enjoyed. These are the roots. This is how I got to where I did. And then ultimately, it started converting it bit by bit into a habitable dwelling, a place where I could literally live so that I could rent out my house. And I could concentrate on doing my passion, on running my business. So it was kind of like 6 months worth of effort, and that's my good friend Waleed, who was someone I've mentored in the early stages, and he started his own business plastering. He helped me teach me the skills as well to actually plaster the house and transform it. And then over here, we turned into this. So it became a fully fledged sleep out. Up there, we've got this. I designed it with a skylight and everything, and a place that I could literally travel the world and come back to. And so what I say is that small investment I made, which was a big investment at the time because that's all the money I had, literally paid me back in bucket loads. And I still remember to this day, remember working an afternoon or a day on someone's property and thinking every dollar, every hour I put into that property, I only earned that money for that day. And that's all it paid me for. Plus it gave me a good night's sleep. But I realized that every minute I put into this paid me into the future. And so that's literally how I did it. I put like 6 months worth of investment in it, and it's paid me 10 years ongoing. Now, I'm not saying everyone has to do this style, not at all, because through the course, you learn the blueprint that's right for you. But more importantly, you learn the sequence of principles of how you can convert what your resources are into something that's going to pay for you. And so this is how I did it, but you've got to learn how you're going to do it personally and to get yourself out of the rat race. So eventually I was able to turn the double garage into something like this, a habitable, enjoyable place, which I can come and go any time of the year that was always set up for me to live in. And that was kind of like the finished product there. So like we said, you had the 30-minute timer. You're able now to purchase the course for that price of $297. It opens. It's a one-time offer. If you've got any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We're having a question answer time now. And so we do know there are a number of questions that people are asking and have been asking about the course. So we want to take time to answer them now. But as any of them come to your mind, I want you to pretty much put them in the chat box as we go. And I think we're welcoming back Antonio as well, which is great timing. So feel free to just put it in the chat box now. Your answers. Welcome back, Antonio. Good to have you. We've just gone over the bonus case study. And
cool.
I've just said we're just starting the 30-minute. I said we've got a bunch of questions we know we've got to answer through question answer. But I've also said to give them opportunity now to put their own personal question in. Could be about us individually, about the course, about anything. Anything you want to add to that?
Well, guys, thank you so much for sticking to the very end. I apologize for being out there. I had a technical difficulty that was pretty major, but back on. I truly, from the bottom of my heart, hope you guys decide to be a part of it tonight. Even to friends and family, I was promoting and reaching out because I believe in this product 100%. It's changed my life, and I know it can change yours, and I know it can impact your family. I know it can impact your kids. I know it can impact your community. When one person truly breaks free, they bring with them many others who are ready for it. And I believe you guys are ready for it. You've stuck to the very end. I hope you feel the genuine heart that Gus has to serve. I hope you just understand that we don't want to come across as we have all the answers, but we have a very good structure and system and accountability for you guys.
Yeah, and just on that, I love what Antonio's saying there. It's not about us having all the answers, but this is what it's about. It's about us producing certain results in our lives and in the lives of other people's results that people want. So it might not be knowing everything, but it's knowing what you need to get your life to where you want it to go, to grow that vision. And that's what I believe the difference we offer.
Guys, the exciting thing is we got our first Ignite course attendee. People are purchasing the course, and we got our first official student, and that's what we're hoping for on this beta launch. The product is up and running. You guys are going to be getting the Ignite financial course, the Facebook community, one-on-one coaching sessions with either Gus, myself, or Violet, or all three.
Yeah, just touching on that again, I just want to reiterate, the coaching itself is so valuable. I mean, I know people pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars just for coaching. You're going to get direct access to us who have lived and breathed this life. This is only to the beta version members, the people that are early members. So if you register today, you can lock in, you can guarantee that one-on-one coaching. That's not going to be around after this beta launch. This is for only the first initial people that enter into this. So That's another reason why this is such a unique offer, that this offer will never actually be around again.
Yeah, and that's just for a reason too, just because we keep working really hard at this. We keep adding the value. We're going to continue to add more content as we go, and we're going to add spirituality, physical health, relationships, subconscious mind, and many more. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just what we're starting off with. There'll be a lot more content coming. And
Yeah, and I just want to reiterate on that point. Like, the heart of Ignite isn't actually to take; it's to give. But as a business, we want to become bigger and better and more valuable. But I also want to say the heart of Ignite is not just money. It's not about money. And the thing in the course, you learn that it's not about the outside in version of money. It's actually about true value, and true wealth is abundant in the heart, the mind. The money's an overflow of that. And I want to say that when you invest in yourself, you got to learn how to access anything that you want. Anything you want to create will become more and more effortless. And you'll understand that it's not about just having the dollar, it's about having the abundance. And when you have the abundance, guys, we want you to actually, the heart of Ignite is for you to ultimately enter into your purpose, enter into your gift, your mission. But if you don't want that, at least it's having the platform to actually seek out whatever you want in life. Imagine not having to go to work, but choosing to go to work, or traveling, or whatever you want to do, but it's going to give you more options. If nothing else, it's going to create options in your life that you don't currently or may not have.
Exactly. So if you guys have any questions, I know Gus was already asking, please put them in the chat box. We will answer them for you. We'll give you guys some time. Be familiar with the course.
On that, I do have some questions that I know have come up in the past. I can get the ball rolling there. Is what happens, Antonio?
Yeah, of course.
On, like, say, the first session, how soon into the course am I going to notice results? Am I going to experience some changes?
Immediately from the first. Gus has a Kaizen process. Gus, which is a self-evaluation process built into every lesson, to help you get the most out of everything. Asking yourself vital questions, and more than information, we're going to be giving you action steps. It's not just passive information and passive watching. We're going to be giving you action steps. And if you invested in the course, then of course you have skin in the game. You paid a price, and that's important, because people don't value what they get for free, and it has to cost something. We just felt like this was just the lowest point of entry to begin.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's you've answered that question really well. Like, another question that people have been asking is, like, what can I actually share this with other people? Like, how do I, and actually giving the course, can I actually show other people the course, or how does it work with it, like a family membership?
Yeah, of course. Once you've been changed by the system, just like any great restaurant or great movie, you just want to tell others about it. That's natural. You will be given your own affiliate link. But when you complete the course, you can now even be a mentor. You can guide them in. You can be part of those one-on-one coaching sessions. But nonetheless, you just will give them the link to this course, and they can watch one of our webinars and see for themselves. But truly, I feel like 76% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Most people don't even have a emergency account set up, and if they do, maybe at most a few $100s.
Yeah, and I am so excited about offering this course, because I know what people have said. People that have gone through it, like my niece, even she was already well off financially, like she had money, but she still had the frugal mindset. When she did this, it changed everything. Like, the bucket system alone took her from a frugal saver to someone that she had pockets of money she could just dispense at willy-nilly. And that was just a game changer for her. My question for you, Antonio, is where do you think you would be now in your life, you and Violet, where do you think you'd be without the mindset that you learned in Ignite Finances? Where would your life have gone to?
It's been amazing. And I truly say this from the bottom of my heart, that it's changed our life, that me and Violet have not had conversations about money or the lack of it. It has put us in an abundance mode, and we just know where wealth comes from. We know how it comes, and we truly feel so excited to accomplish our big dreams and goals that it's been a long time, guys, since we fought about money. And it's true. It's a blessing. So if you're in a relationship, this can really help you guys' relationship.
That's amazing. I want to hit on that because I think it's a massive point that you bring up. Like, tell me what was your relationship like pre this knowledge, and how would you describe the relationship post just this knowledge alone? Not that you can isolate your relationship to just that one factor, because there's been other changes as well. But if you were to account for the financial knowledge and wisdom, what would you say, and how did that change the dynamic of the relationship over the time?
If you have a significant other, it's really important to do this course with them, because luckily Violet actually had more of a giving heart than I did. Violet also had more of a celebration type of heart, in abundance. Violet was a lot more in abundance than I was. I've always been a hard worker and ambitious, but unfortunately I had always still had a scarcity mentality. I was kind of just running to nowhere. I was beating myself up for not, quote unquote, being where I thought I wanted to be. And when we got on the same page, before, some of the things we used to argue about is if we had X amount of dollars in this account, she would want to give it to somebody or buy a gift for someone. And I'll say, no, babe, we can't. We can't buy that. We can't do that. I would always put a lid on her spirit because I was such in a fight or flight. Another example would be hosting or inviting friends over. And through the abundance, through these buckets, we now get to have fun and buy good food to host. Have great decorations. It just puts you in such a creative, fun mode as a couple. The other thing
That's amazing.
Before
just a question as you're on that story, just in the meantime, because people are wondering about the PayPal option, the paying option. So just got a question, like if people want to buy the course but they don't actually have that money, is there a PayPal option that they can do in the US?
There should be a PayPal option that allows PayPal financing. That's something actually I need to test out myself. But if regardless if it's not linked on there, if you have PayPal, they do PayPal financing. It's incredibly simple to achieve. And the reason why we're even bringing that up is it's a very nice, convenient option. Zero interest options that you can even pay that in payments. When we sell this course,
and on that, like you could literally pay this course off with the money you save on your first month or 2 or 3 months of saving on just the first session alone, or the second session on financial analysis. You learn the 3 major habits where your money's leaking. So I can almost say with certainty the money you would save on that first main session of financial analysis is going to pay this course back at the beta version price, which is a joke.
Exactly. So there's endless amounts of value as long as you plug into it and apply the content.
You were finishing off what you were saying about your relationship dynamic. I interrupted you with the PayPal idea, but you were saying something really interesting about that dynamic. If you could just finish that part off, it was really interesting.
No worries, too. So the other biggest thing, too, for couples that I've seen that this gets you on the same page on is when you have a structured purpose to each bank account, if the money's not in there, then you don't buy it. And you're totally on the same page with that because you know the power of those bucket systems. The whole goal eventually is to have an overflowing margin, overflowing abundance in every account. But as you're starting off, sometimes one couple goes that way and the other couple goes that way with finances, and they double spend or triple spend. Like, oh, you got yourself a dress, so I'm going to buy myself a watch. And so you kind of get to this self-gratification thing that we were in, and being on the same page with money, having the same agreed upon rules, like the bucket system, really changed the game for us. It was incredible.
100%. I think that I love what you're saying there. And just to reiterate, our dream is for you to have overflowing buckets with overflowing margins in every account, guys. So you don't have to think twice about spending. But one of the principles you learn along the way, we're giving out free content now, but I love this principle, is that you actually learn the value of going without for a time. Remember what it was like leading up to Christmas when you were a kid? You couldn't wait until Christmas, but you had to wait. You couldn't open your Christmas presents before Christmas. Well, think of enjoying. That's something we need to actually grow in and enjoy. Because imagine if you got everything your vision could want right now, guess what would happen? You would enjoy it for a bit, but I guarantee you would start to get bored very soon. So the idea is we want to create in you back that principle of looking forward to something. And once you've actually gone without for a little bit at the start, you'll learn that the buckets start to overflow and you have overflowing abundance in all of them, and life goes to a whole new level. Any questions you have for me with regard to the course here, Antonio?
Yeah, guys. What I know you have had countless success stories. You've been doing this for a while. You even have a buddy that a recent big powerful success story in Australia now, right?
Yeah, he's an Aussie. Yeah, Gold Coast.
What was his story?
Oh, well, just reiterating, I've got a really good friend, Waleed, by the way. If you want to get a personal training program or a personal trainer, he's the guy I recommend. I mean, I do it myself, but my focus is this and mindset at the moment. He's just a guru at the moment when it comes to the physique. But the training with him, literally, he was in a fight-flight scenario. He was there paying his bills. This was 10 years ago. But 10 years ago, he came to me and wanted to seek help. He was in a place where he was potentially involved in gangs. People were trying to recruit him. You know, he had a shaky relationship, but he had something deep within him that he wanted to change. And the main thing I taught him was mindset and vision. And I taught him how to create a plan. And literally, this is what he wrote down. He wrote he was going to be on the Gold Coast. And I actually took him through the course on career transformation and how to find your unique mission. He literally wrote down his dream vision of where he would be, what he would be doing, change his subconscious mindset. And this is the note I got literally last week. He says, he put a post of me saying, I just want to thank my Ignite mentor, Gus. All these years ago, 10 years ago, I've just reread my vision I set 10 years ago, and I'm living it verbatim to the dot what I described I would be living. Right now, he's on 10 grand a month. His aim is about to get to 100 grand a month. In the next month or 2 months is his dream. Literally, he had no plan, no way, no idea of how he's going to get that. I just taught him how to create a vision and then how to create the plan subsequently, and he did it. And so that's who that was. So you're asking me about that. That's literally, we've just reconnected, and he told me that incredible story.
Yeah, it's amazing. The other thing that comes to mind, Patricia, my aunt, was saying all the way from El Paso, Texas, is the course self-paced?
Good question. For me, yeah, so the course is completely self-paced. It's the great thing about it is it comes with a handbook as well as a video tutorial. So there'll be 9 videos, but also you have a PDF worksheet. So you can literally work through by reading or by visual listening. There'll be interactive slides. It'll be really creative and interesting. It'll be fun learning. So you'll actually just take 20 minutes out of your day, each day or each week. You can do it as fast or as short as you like. But the cool thing about it is it's totally self-paced. So you can relax, you can tune in, you can play it in your car, you can play it while you're walking, you can sit down and study it, and you can just build these principles into your life. One thing I love about particularly the bucket system is once you set it, you forget it. It's not something that you have to keep honing into your life. It's something you literally set the thermostat on, and the money comes in every week on tap the way you want to create it. That one system alone, that one session would change my life. And the one session did change my life, and that's why we offered it today. But in the course, we break it right down of exactly the steps you need to take. And like literally, it's 1 week you take out of your life to do it. And what's your experience with that, Antonio? Because I knew when we first introduced to you guys, like I know for Violet, that was a big game changer. But how was it for you going through that bucket system?
Guys, I'll get to the bucket system too. But the very first lesson about the history of money, I want to bring that up first too, and then I'll talk about the buckets because we did this in August of 2019, a few months before COVID. And Gus already had us starting to switch our thinking of what happens when things fall apart. What happens when we go through pandemics? What happens when industry changes or technology shifts and displaces workers? Again, this is going to go beyond just money. And I'll hit the bucket system. So the whole goal is for us to not even think about money anymore. The whole goal is for us to live our life like we're breathing air with an abundance of it. You don't think about air. Just like what we want you to do with money. We want you to separate your golden goose and your finances from what you do with your life passion and purpose. Of course, you may get paid for that as well. But when I was able to break those two and separate them, and then I did the career course with Gus, I was truly able to see what God's mission for me was. Whether you're religious or not, I truly feel that there is passion in everybody. There is music in your soul, and sometimes our circumstances, our ways of thinking, does not allow you to sing it. And I pray you don't go to your deathbed with the music still in you.
Amazing. Really well said. Really well said. And the bucket system, like what did that do for you guys?
So the bucket system, like I was saying, getting us on the same page with that splash account or the super saver. We're saving up for actually the super saver. That bucket particularly is going towards a multi.
Yeah, right. I don't know if he might have just cut out there. But I think the time is down. I think we've only got 10 more minutes for that offer to exist. So, yeah, if you're still on the fence, I encourage you to actually ask yourself, if you don't invest in yourself, the next time you'll see the price, it's going to be up there at the regular price. So I want you to really consider that opportunity now. We've got 10 minutes left on the clock before that clicks down. But yeah, I mean, literally, I saw in Antonio and Violet when I was working with them just an incredible transformation. Particularly, like once we did the bucket system, I know for Violet, this was a massive area of growth because for her, what changed was her mindset around money. She suddenly realized she had these buckets she could access, and when she tapped into them, it was kind of like instantaneously there was a sense of peace. Instantaneously, there was a sense of certainty. There was a sense of relaxation. There was a sense of calm. And I think that's the thing, biggest thing I noticed with Violet was just the sense of change in her mind. And that blew me away that I knew the bucket system did, but again, seeing it in person was just incredible. And the dynamic of their relationship changed. And I think when I worked with Antonio, I just saw him come alive during the Golden Goose. Like it was like they had different zones they zoned in on, and you'll find that if you do this as a partner, you have different things you gravitate to. And for her, it was the subconscious. I know for Antonio it was too, but for the practical things, for her it was the bucket system. I know for you, Antonio, the Golden Goose really juiced you up, and it just gave you the framework and the plan and the excitement of how you're going to do it.
Yeah, the Golden Goose was big for me because I had done other businesses before, and I guess I always felt disheartened because they never took off. I guess I was not really a good enough entrepreneur. And when you offered me guidance and an incredible blueprint and roadmap and guidance to execute my Golden Goose, I just felt the life back in me because you can try those business ideas or those big money making ideas. And if you fall short of it, I was beating myself up. And when you offered me a helping hand, that's all I needed. And that was the biggest thing. And Gus, I want to.
I was just going to ask you, we only have 10 more minutes left. Is it the 10 minute? We've got 10 more minutes for the deal before it closes. So yes, 10 more minutes, and then those bonuses are going to be off the table. The one-on-one coaching is going to be gone. The $1,000 price value of the golden ticket to our Bali retreat, which will be incredible. Mind, body, soul, spirit. You're going to get everything on that. That's going to evaporate right after we close that deal. Yep. So once that time is gone, guys, these bonuses are gone, and you won't have access to them. But for this beta version right now, we're closing in on 8 minutes to go. You have opportunity to get the course for that price.
Yeah, even early on, buy it for a family member, buy it for a loved one, buy it for yourself. Guys, we 100% believe you're going to be changed by this program. I know my Wi-Fi has been very unstable, so I apologize. So if it goes out again, I think this one might be the last one. I've ran out of options. But we are towards the tail end, guys. We have about 10 more minutes that we're going to leave it open at this price, and then we'll bring it back up to the regular price. And
And we've got a few more questions to go over in that time, but I do want to say a personal thank you to everyone that's attended. Thank you for staying to the end. It was been amazing having you on this journey. So I just want to say a personal thank you for joining us as well on this webinar.
Yep. So I know you're a big believer in the subconscious. Remember that time that Violet was trying to get a payment that was rightfully hers from an ex-business partner, but she had this story in her head. Violet had this story in her head, and you might relate with it, that that it's greedy when you ask for the money, right? That was rightfully hers. And we did a technique. So
yeah, that was yeah.
Go ahead.
So we're in a situation with Violet, who, for those who don't know, is Antonio's partner, and we were actually in Bali, and she had an old, we call it stinky thinking, from the past, and what it was she felt greedy when she would go to ask for what was rightfully hers, only when it came to money. And so what the situation was she had her old boss who owed her money but wasn't paying up, and she was getting frustrated, but she also felt guilty and ashamed for actually having to ask. And so what I taught her to do was literally how to go into the subconscious, and we reset the subconscious with a couple of truths that she needed to speak to her own subconscious to rewire it, to change her mindset and emotions around that act, because that was inhibiting her life. That was stopping her from being assertive. That was stopping her from getting what she wanted. So we literally retrained it, and guess what? Well, you can tell me the result. I taught her literally that being assertive was not being aggressive, and then asking for what was rightly for hers was the right thing to do, because it held him accountable, but at the same time, she got what was rightfully hers. So tell me how it transpired once we had reprogrammed that part of the subconscious, Antonio.
Well, saying that truth coach, she was doing it over and over and got into her subconscious. She built her confidence. She built her belief. She affirmed it, and it happened flawlessly, effortlessly. He cooperated. She ended up getting paid the money she deserved, and it felt just a thing of the past. But sometimes we do have those subconscious limiting beliefs, and even if it's not in the course, this is why the one-on-one coaching is so vital, because we will ask you, we'll do a needs analysis. We will find out what's holding you back, and we'll come up with a game plan together. And sometimes you need somebody else to look outside, because you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. You need
We just have a question from Patricia. Is it an electronic version? Yes, it is. It is an electronic version. Like I say, you're going to have on video, and you're also going to have it on PDF form. So it'll be all transferable on your tablet, on your phone, or on your laptop. It's all available in whatever form, electronic form you want.
Yep.
Remember, we've got a total of 15 minutes to go to let you know, but really the offer ends. What is it? 5 more minutes? I can't see the timer there, Antonio. Is it? What would you say?
Yeah. About 5 more minutes, guys, and when we close it out here, I'll leave it on just for a little bit longer. But do it right now. The time is right now. If not now, when? If not this, then what? You know, if there's something that's calling to you guys, or you might be thinking of somebody else that might need this or be perfect for it, it's been put in front of your way for a reason, for a purpose. I believe we are called to influence those that are closest to us, our loved ones first. Even though they say you can't be a prophet in your own hometown, I feel like that community and that support is very important. I think, I'm kind of out of words now, guys. I really want to thank you.
One thing I want to say, as we're coming towards the tail end of this opportunity for you guys, is I love to ask this question for everything, and I've done this with Antonio and Violet when they're about to make a massive investment in Hawaii. We're potentially going to be spending all their capital on something, and I love to ask this question. I go, what's the downside of this decision, and what's the potential upside? Now, if the worst case scenario is that you are without $200 odd, and it's not for you, well, guess what? You've actually made a decision. You've made a learning. You've learnt how to understand something better. But if what we're saying is all true, and if you have needs in your life that aren't being met financially, what's the upside? Even if alone, at worst case scenario, you just got better financial habits that changed, that took you out of fight flight mode to be more relaxed, that will be worth it. But let's just say not only you got that, but the exponential upside would be you learned how to invest. You learned how to get out of the rat race. You learned the subconscious workings of the mind. You learned how to actually get out of the grid, unplug from the grid, and be on your own terms. How valuable, if the upside is exponential and the downside is to be without a few $100s, what's stopping you?
Exactly. What's the best case scenario if you do this?
Exactly. And if the worst case is something you can live with, not too bad, and the best case is something incredible, then for me, in my thinking, that's a worthwhile decision to make.
Exactly.
Another question I get asked a lot, Antonio, is where would my life be if I didn't have these principles in my life? Shall I take it?
Yeah, let me touch on that one.
Oh, you want? Yeah, you do want to touch on that, and I'll touch on a bit after. But yeah, you go for it.
Guys, what if you were living these principles 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago? Can you imagine where you would be? Guys, what if we were just 10% of our income was going into the stock market 20 years ago? You bought some Apple stock, some Amazon. Imagine where you would be. Yes, Patricia, I'll send you the link again. I hope you sign up. I know you will love it. You've always been so growth-minded. Let's not think about the past. The second best time, because the first time was 10 years ago. The second best time is right now. We'll guide you into the share market. We'll guide you into setting up and structuring your buckets. We'll help you build your golden goose.
Can I just tell a quick story about what you're saying there about the investment? This is just really exciting. I just got to say this. So on my travels, when I was in Brazil, I met a millionaire from Australia. Now, I was fascinated because I thought I was living this great lifestyle, which I was up to my. But something that added to me, which I've subsequently I put in the course as kind of like a bonus, but it's in there. Now, he was an investor. So he was a really savvy, smart investor. And he taught me things that blew my mind. So he literally every year sat back and of pure passive capital dividends, he would make between $100,000 and $200,000. And that was nothing of his money. That was just simply for interest he made, the dividend payouts he got from his investments. Now, he taught me all of the principles that he learned in order to become like that. And like I said, last year, I made 50% on my investments with hardly moving a finger. All I did was click a finger, make this investment. And he taught me literally the principles step by step of how to do that. Now, I've broken that down into dummy form in the course. So you guys are going to get all that. Just that one session alone for me will be worth easily the price of this course. I would pay $1,000 just for that lesson alone, for that knowledge of what I know now. I made thousands of dollars last year out of literally striking one finger. That was just one session. So I couldn't help but actually say that story because that reminded me where I would be without that knowledge of investing. I would be much poorer for it.
Exactly. Guys, we just got another sign up. Just
oh, wow.
Have our
thank you, guys.
Student. Yes, thank you so much. We're very excited. We're so pumped. We're so happy with
We're very grateful, guys. We're so grateful that you've joined us and that you can feel the vision. You can see the value. We're just so excited that you're joining us. Thank you so much for that, guys. We know it's only got a couple of minutes to go on the sign-up timer, but just thank you so much for believing in this, believing in the vision. We're so excited to serve you guys and to make it the best version we can.
So my aunt is having trouble signing up. What I could probably do, Patricia, is maybe if once you click on the link, let me actually I have some slides on where to click on. Let me go all the way back.
Yeah, because some of you others may be having this issue. You're going to try and sign up and it's not directing you to the right place. So we'll just go over some of the admin as we need to.
Yeah, I have some screenshots. So when you click on the link, it'll send you to this landing page here. And this is an older screenshot because I think I have it at 297. click on the start now. I'll have you create an account, and then you'll be able to check out. I'll send the link one more time too, and I have your email, Patricia, or I'm Pati. I'll send it to your email. Could you confirm? Is it Pati Benitez 77 at hotmail.com? I'm gonna email it to you.
So yeah, if you can even just try that now as we do it live, just so you can confirm with us as well.
Yep.
But yeah, just reiterating that story, like I can tell you, if I hadn't applied the principles that this guy taught me, like I literally would be thousands of dollars worse off. And that's one. Now, another principle I could tell you where I would be without the emergency bucket, that bucket alone. I'll tell you a funny story. When I was on my way back from Australia, I'd just been having my Subway sandwich in Australia. And you know what? I was halfway through the sandwich and I felt full, and I thought I'll just put it in my bag for later use. I jumped in the plane, didn't give it a second thought. Guess what happened? I walked through customs in New Zealand. I'd ride back in the country. I thought, yeah, I'm going back in my country. It'll be fine. What happens? This dog, the sniffer dog, comes and jumps up on me. I'm like, what the heck's it doing? Sniffing around my bag. I'm like, I'm not a criminal. Don't do anything to me. And guess what happened? They pull me over and they go, I've got nothing to hide. They open my bag, and what do they find? They pull out a Subway sandwich. And what did I click? You're not allowed to bring like meat through the border that's from another country. And of course, I assumed that Australia was fine, and I didn't think twice. But guess what happened? They slapped me with a $400 bill on the spot. Now, I'd just come back from traveling 6 months around the world, and you'd think I'd be depleted financially. Hadn't been working full on during that time. I've been living a good life. But guess what? My first thought was, what came into my old thinking was a bit of fight, flight, survival. I'm like, oh, crap, $400 fine. What am I going to do? This is shocking. And then my next thought came in because I remembered the bucket system. Don't you have an emergency account? And then you could literally see my face change. As soon as that thought came in, it went from this dread feeling to, peace, relax. And I literally remembered the bucket system. So that's just one simple example of where my life would be. If I constantly lived on the baseline and I had these experiences, I wouldn't be able to live at the level I'm living. But because I've always got this depth of security, I'm never in that fear mode. Like I got a ticket the other week. These things don't affect me like they did pre this knowledge. Before I had this knowledge, it would affect me. It'd affect my week. It would affect what I ate that day. It'd affect like going out to the movies. It would affect being generous with someone else. It would affect, my access money. But all of that changed just for that emergency bucket alone. That alone changed it. Anyway, that's just one aspect of where my life would be. That's a very good question, guys. Keep coming up with any questions you've got. It says we've got 5 minutes before the end, and then we have to wrap it up. Antonio, any thoughts around that?
Congratulations, Patricia, on signing up as well. You are the third founding member of the Ignite course.
Welcome in.
Yes, and we promise to deliver. This is the beta version, so we're going to continue making it better. We will hold you guys accountable. We'll have meetings with you guys. We'll set them up on your calendar and your schedule through Zoom. And again, we'll never judge you. We'll never, come as a higher authority than you guys. We're as a team. We're in this together. We want to help accomplish your goals. Thank you guys so much for trusting us and believing in us, and believing in yourselves too, that it is time for a change. It is time for something better. It is time for something more. Those are my closing remarks, guys. Love you guys. Thank you so much for tonight and spending your time you could have been doing Netflix, you could have been watching movies, you could have been watching the news, but instead you gave us some of your time, and we really honor and respect you guys for that.
Yeah, and my closing thoughts is just thank you so much, guys. I think there's 1 minute left, so if you still are on the fence, then feel free to do it now. But other than that, guys, we welcome in the 3 new members to the Ignite family. We're gonna. My personal mission is, as long as you want to learn and grow, I'm going to do whatever it takes to help you move to that next level. As long as you stay teachable and open, then Antonio and I, we're going to do everything in our power to make it work for you. But over and all, I know the course in and of itself will be life transformative. I'm just personally excited for this first webinar. I've had a ball. I've had a blast. I've loved sharing. I've loved you guys' banter and feedback. Appreciate it all and love working with you, Antonio. This is just a great first webinar.
Awesome, guys. Enjoy the content. You'll hear from us soon. And have a great night. Stay warm and stay safe.
Ciao, ciao. Signing out.
Bye, everyone.